Hey, what's going on? Doc Danny here with the PT Entrepreneur Podcast. And today I've got something super specific and tactical for you that you can add in to help get your team on the same page and to help you make the right decisions. As your team grows, one of the things that becomes challenging is you end up trying to make the right decisions across a number of different factors. So what's best for the business? What's best for your staff? What's best for, short-term versus long-term in terms of the way you need to think about what you're going to try to accomplish as well as what your goals are long-term, and maybe those shift. So the challenge in many ways as you grow your business is it becomes harder and harder to know if you're making the right decisions. When it's just you and you're just getting started, the goal is basically just to survive. You're trying to replace your income as quickly as you can. You're trying to put yourself in a place where you have a lateral transfer from the income you're making from your job, so that you can put yourself in a safe position to provide for yourself and your family. It's very scary mentally. It's very hard. Physically, it's a lot of hours, but it's very defined. Let me put it that way, right? So you just have this, here's your goal. The goal is just to get to the point where I can make enough money to do this full time. This is going to provide for myself and my family. Now, after that, it becomes much harder to decide what do you want to do with your business. And this is something that I think for most people, they don't put a lot of thought into this. They just are kind of in it. We call it jumping out of the plane and building the parachute on the way down. This is exactly how I have started every single business that I've ever been a part of. Well, not every single one. The first two that I was a part of, let's put it that way. Then we started to be much more intentional. But early on, we just don't know. We're just trying to see what works. And oftentimes, you're just going to pick the thing that feels like there's an opportunity there to be able to generate more revenue and grow the business. And that very well may not be what you want to do, right? That may not be the right decision for you. You have to put some thought into where you're trying to go. We talk about this in the concept of understanding what race you are running. So, if you're running a 5K versus running a marathon versus running a 100-mile endurance race, the training for that is going to be very different. The decisions you make about volume and intensity and nutrition and duration of time that it takes to train up for those things, these are all going to be very different. And what we see is a lot of people are they're running a 5K, but they don't even realize that they're trying to run 100 miles. So they're making decisions in this short lens when they really need to focus on something that's going to be more long term, because the race they're running is very long and very, very challenging. So there's a mismatch there. They're doing the wrong things. So number one, it's very important for you to really sit down and get a clear idea of what do you want your business to look like. And have an honest conversation with yourself and with your significant other, if you have one, your family, if you're providing for anybody, about what type of life you're trying to build, why, and what's necessary for you to be able to, accomplish that. And you may realize that you don't need as big of a practice as you thought you did, or maybe it's bigger than you think that it should be. Either way, most of us get to a point where we realize, well, we have to grow past ourselves at a minimum. And this is where it gets really tricky, because now we're dealing with other human beings, and human beings are fantastic. The people in your business are the greatest part of your business, but they're also the messiest part, because they have their own aspirations, goals, things that are important to them, stressors, people giving them advice unsolicited, not maybe aligning with what you're saying. So you have this, what we call like a power dynamic that is created, where you have to understand how to motivate other people and to be able to make decisions based on what's best for the business, but also to try to align the goals that you have with getting people to want to go the same direction as you. And one thing that we've started to do recently in PT Biz, we started this last year, and it has worked really well. And it's something, again, that we were following through in this year as well, to help us have a filter to make the right decisions of what we're going to say yes or no to, purely based on what we're trying to accomplish in the business. And I think for you in your clinic, if you can think through one thing that's the most important thing that you could focus on for your business, that helps distill things down to create a filter that you can then make decisions through. So for us, last year when we sat down at our beginning of the year planning retreat, we spent hours really thinking through this. It's like, what's the most important thing that we do? And it can only be one thing. What's the most important thing we can focus on? And what we realized, and it's very obvious when you think about it, but like it takes a lot of effort to just drill this down to one thing because it could be many, is for us, the answer is the entire purpose of PT Biz is to help our clients make more money in their businesses. We do a lot of other things. We help people with, work-life balance. In fact, we do a lot more of that than I ever thought that we would, helping people deal with the really hard to understand stressors of running a business, the relationship dynamics of doing that. Maybe you work with your spouse, not ruining relationships around you because you become solely focused on that, not ruining your own health in the process. These are all really important things, but is the most important thing. Are we going to make a hiring decision of bringing somebody else on our team because we are trying to help people have a well-rounded entrepreneurial experience? Not necessarily, because if their business doesn't have enough revenue, then they don't have a business. They can't hire anybody. And we want to change the profession. We want to help clinics create low volume environments that allow them to hire fantastic clinicians and make a lateral transfer from working for a corporate or hospital-based clinic from a compensation standpoint, from a benefits package standpoint, and have an improved work-life balance. So for them to come over, be able to have less intensity of work, less burnout in the profession, but yet still have really good careers that they can function in as amazing clinicians for a very long time. Well, in order to do that, what do you need? You have to have money. My wife used to work and run a military nonprofit in Hawaii. She ran the chapter of a nonprofit called Operation Homefront. Fantastic organization, doing great work. And in Texas, where we were at when I was in school, her boss, who was the head of the Texas chapter, she used to always say this, because no one wants to fundraise. It feels icky, like it's like sales. But she would say, no money, no mission. No money, no mission. And these are not nonprofit businesses. These are obviously for-profit businesses, but in a lot of ways, they share a lot of commonalities with nonprofits because they're heavily mission-driven. And if you don't have any money in your business, you can't provide for yourself. You sure as hell can't provide great, jobs for other people. You can't support your community. You can't give back in many ways. Whether you like it or not, we have to deal with money. Money is an exchange of value and trust, and it's how we do things in the world. We better get comfortable with it. So as we looked at this and we sat down and really drilled down into what it is that we can solely focus on, it is we help clinicians make more money in their clinics so that they can do all these other amazing things and we can help change the profession. So when we make decisions on our team now of, are we going to bring somebody on in another role? Well, does this help us help our clinicians, our clients that we work with, make more money in their facilities, have better businesses in their facilities? And if the answer is no, this is something internal that only supports, what we're doing, and it doesn't directly move the needle for us helping our clients make more revenue, then the answer is no. If we're thinking about increasing education in a certain area, does this tie in with them having better businesses, making more money? If the answer is no, then we move on to something else. And we drill down to what areas are we missing that we need to focus on that directly tie into revenue productive activities. And then we build more there. So whether we're hiring, whether we're bringing education, guest presenters into live events, whether we're building out new resources and hiring subject matter experts to help build up the knowledge base and the resources for our clients, all of this is drilled down to one thing. Does this help them make more money in their clinics? Because we know at the end of the day, the net result of that is going to be incredibly positive for them and for the profession. So for you, and especially at the beginning of the year, this is a great time to do this. I want you to think about what is the one thing, and I'm not going to give you the answer to, by the way, because I can't, but I want you to think about this. What is the one thing you can do in your business that is the most important thing that you help your clients with? That is the most important thing you could focus on for your business to be successful, right? Like, what is the number one thing you can focus on that makes everything else move in the direction that you want to go? And get your entire team on the same page with that. Get them organized around this one filter. Because at a certain stage, when you have more clients, more staff, you have more employees, more people on your team, you can't be the only person that's forever making decisions. And if they know what the decision filter is, they know whether they're choosing the right thing or not. And if they don't pick the right thing, then maybe they don't understand, or maybe they don't care. And maybe that's something you need to address as far as your culture is concerned and continue to do staff development. But it should be crystal clear. We focus on this. Does this piece of software that you want me to get help with what our goal is? Does this Con Ed course help with our goal is? Does this next hire help with our goal is? Does this bigger space help whatever our goal is? Like, everything that you do runs through that. Right? And the way in which that streamlines the decision process and gets everyone on the same page is fantastic. So that's my challenge for you. I want you to think of the number one thing that is the most important thing for you to focus on in your business. That if you do this, if you focus on this, if this improves, everything else falls in line and the business moves forward for the goals that you have. Share that with your team and focus on that as part of your ongoing training that you're doing. Let's say you're doing a staff meeting every week. Focus on that, tie it in to everything that you're doing, get everybody on the same page. Everyone will start making decisions based on that. And that's where we start to see leadership be less about micromanagement and more about group management, as far as making the right decision for what the ultimate goal of the business is. And all of the decisions you make get filtered through that, and it makes saying no to the wrong things much easier and yes to the right things far more easy as well.